I wanted to actually give a little bit of a warm-up session. I was thinking obviously we can do some sums, maths. If I start with maths, I had a fear that rather than turning on your brain, I might fry it up. Then I thought, okay, what other thing can I do other than maths which can actually give you a little bit of a spark in your brains? There is something called wordplay, and there are many versions of it. The version I would like to introduce today is what we call as anagrams. What do you call as what, children? Anagrams. If you take a word and if you can shuffle the letters in it and create another meaningful word, you call it as a word? Anagram. One easy example I can tell you is the word melons. We can shuffle these letters, create another meaningful word. What is that, children? Lemon. Exactly. So as you can see, the same letters are used in a different order to create another meaningful word. So to start off the day, shall I give you some anagrams? Not very much, just a few, because we are restricted with time. Shall we try to solve it? Do the first one. Once you find out the correct other word, raise your hands. Don't tell the word, just raise your hands. Second one, quickly. Second one. Once you get it right, raise your hands up. Wants to see how many of you can do it fast. The third one. This time I might ask the answer, so raise your hands honestly. There are a few over this side. Okay, put the hands up. I included you all in a small psychological experiment. Okay, not like the crazy kind of stuff which you see in movies. You can one day put your collar up and say I was part of a psychological experiment one day. Unfortunately, this experiment was first done, a different version of this was first done with some dogs. Okay, so nothing much to be proud about. So Martin Seligman, a very renowned psychologist, he did this experiment with the dogs. There were two groups of dogs. They were put into a cage which gives them a shock. One group of dogs were put in a cage where they will get a shock, but if there is a button and if they press the button, they can stop the shock. So after struggling for a while, the dogs figured out, if we click this button, the shocks stop. The second group of dogs were put into a similar kind of a cage, but they did not have the button, which means there was no way for them to stop that suffering. And then both these categories of dogs were put into another chamber. In that chamber, what they did is, which was divided by a small hurdle which the dogs can jump over. This part of the floor will give electric shocks, but this part is safe. When the first group of dogs who knew that the pain could be stopped by pressing a button were entered into this chamber, they got shocked and they knew there is a way to stop this and they jumped over and escaped. But the second group of dogs who were conditioned to think there is no way to stop the shock because they did not know anything about the button or there is a way to stop the shocks, they came into the chamber, and once they came here, they never tried to escape this. They accepted their fate that they have to be shocked continuously. They didn't even know there is a way to escape. They could have also jumped over, but they were conditioned earlier to think there is no way to stop this shocking. Martin Seligman, he called this phenomena as learned helplessness. Unknowingly, this affects a lot of areas in our life, including our education. So let me tell you what is the experiment I did with you. Now, if you noticed, this side of the crowd were much better at solving the anagrams than this side. Is it some feng shui, vastu problem, no barakat in this side, musibat in this side? Not your again, generally saying. What I did is, I induced learned helplessness in you. What happened was, when I gave the first one, these people did it very fast. Because, what was the word I gave to you? Tab. Tab, if you rearrange it, what will you get, children? Back. Now they are answering. Why they didn't answer earlier? What is the word you all got? Verb. W-H-I-R-L. Which is an impossible anagram. That cannot be made into another word. Then the second one. Okay. What is the word you all got? Race. If you shuffle it a bit, you get? Yeah. What did you all get? Slapstick. Okay. It was like a slap in your face, no? Another impossible anagram. The second one, again easy, impossible. But that's not the fun. The third one I gave, what was your word? Chaser. What was your word? The third one was not different. The third one was same for you all as well as you all. But only some people could, in this side, could figure it out. None of you could figure it out. The word is what, children? Search. You all were searching for the word search. How ironical, no? Okay. The experiment is very simple. By using the first two examples, impossible anagrams, I induced a learned helplessness. I made you learn that you are helpless, that you are not good enough, that you are not talented enough, that you all can't do it. It's impossible. I created that by putting two impossible ones. When I did that for you all, not a single person here could recover from that and find the third one, which was possible. This is Martin's learned helplessness. How many of you are suffering with this? How many of you are bad at maths? Because there are a couple of grades where you perform very bad at maths and your marks were low, and after that you thought you could never recover. I have seen plenty of students, sometimes they come and tell me, sir, during grade 5, 6, I was really good at maths, but after that in grade 7 or 8, online classes happened and my marks went down, and till now my marks are very, very low. I think most of you would be able to relate to this. Okay? Why? That couple of years kind of made you believe that you all can't recover from that, just like my two first anagrams. You will learn that you are helplessness and you are not going to unlearn that back again. But if you recall, you all were good at maths. So if you became bad, you can bounce back. You can bounce back, but you don't. Just like those dogs in the experiment, just like how it happened right now. The Martin himself, he gave a solution. He called it as the antidote for learned helplessness is the opposite of that. That is learned optimism. I think you all know the word optimism. Optimistic means you always think in a positive way. So what Martin advises is to counter learned helplessness. He tells you to learn optimism, force optimism. And he tells you to do this, you can use the 3 P's method. First P is, he tells permanence. Learn permanence. You have to first of all understand, none of your problems are permanent. You have lived for 15, 16 years. Think about the biggest problem you have had in the past. Is it permanent, children? Is it still there? No. Maybe it lasted for a few weeks, few days, few months. But now it is not there. Think about Corona. Was it permanent? No. None of the problems are permanent. The second P, he says, is personalization. Some of you blame yourself for all the things which is going around in your life. You are not good in studies, you blame yourself. I am not talented, I am born like this, I can't study, it's my fault. When something goes around in a different part of the country also, you blame yourself. Because of me only, there is a tornado in that part of the country. You think the problems are because of you. Some problems are because of you. Okay, some problems are because of you, but not all the problems are because of you. So learn that you are not the cause of all the problems around you. The third one, he calls as pervasiveness. What you will do is, now see, in your life, there are different aspects of your life. Education is there, family is there, social life is there, extracurriculars are there. What happens with pessimistic people is, when one part of it is going wrong, when you have family problems, you spread that problem like butter into the other parts as well. My family, I am having problems, financial issues, some other problem. Therefore, I am going to take all that problem and put it into my education also. Because my parents are fighting, I am not going to study. I've been the referee in the middle of it. The best way to stop a fight between parents is let them fight and you stay out of it. When you come inside, they will have more reasons to fight. They look at your face and they remember. Okay. So that is what Martin suggests as the third point. Don't take your problem in one area and spread it into the other parts. If you follow these three mainly, you will get what we call as learned optimism, which will remove what we learn now as learned helplessness.